This is Into Math 3rd grade, lesson 17.2, Estimate and Measure Mass. I can use metric units to estimate and measure the mass of objects. Please gather your workbook and a pencil and turn to page 444. We will begin under Build Understanding Part 1. If you need to pause this video at any time, you may do so and come back as needed. Look around the classroom for the items listed in the chart. Here are where the items are listed. Estimate the mass of each object. Then use a pan balance, gram masses, kilogram masses to measure the mass of each object. Well, we need to take a look at the connect to vocabulary to understand what is mass. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. So metric units for measuring mass are grams, which we will use a small g to represent, and kilograms, which we will use a kg to represent. 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. To help you understand more about mass, grams, and kilograms, we can use this benchmark. A paper clip is about 1 gram, and a book is about 1 kilogram or 1,000 grams. So our first job is to estimate the mass of each object, and these are the items here. I have pictures of them on the side for each item. So if you would like to pause the video now and go ahead and write your estimation into the area that says estimated mass for each item, you can do that and come back, or you can just follow along with me. When I look at the first item, the 3-hole punch, I look at that and I think, well, that seems like it would be about the same weight as that book. So I'm going to guess that this would be 1 kilogram because it looks like it's as heavy as a book. Then I look at that pink eraser and I think, that's pretty small. Maybe I would say that might be about 3 paper clips or 3 grams. Then I look at the paper clip and I look at our benchmark up here and I think, oh, well, a paper clip weighs about as much as a paper clip, so I'm gonna say 1 gram. I look at the stapler and I think, that seems a little heavier, but not maybe as heavy as a book. Maybe I would say it's like 400 grams. And then I'll look at the pen and I would maybe guess that it's like 10 paper clips, so 10 grams. And I look at the pencil and I think pencils are a little bit lighter than pens, so maybe I would say like 8 grams. And the last one is the ruler. The ruler seems like it might be a little bit heavier than the pen, so maybe I'll say it's 20 grams. Okay, great. Now I have estimated each object. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what it asks. I'm going to use the pan balance and the gram masses and kilogram masses, which I have right here. I'm going to use those to measure the mass of each object. So you can follow along with me as I take each item. So I'll start with the 3-hole punch. I'll put that on one side here. Move the 3-hole punch to one of the sides for the pan, and then I will show you how much the item weighs. So for this one, in order for the pan balance to be balanced, meaning that right here is level. If something is too heavy or too light, it will not be horizontal like this. It will be up or down. So this is balance. And so when we do the scale or the pan balance for this, we find that the hole punch is 1 kilogram or 1,000 grams. Next, I weigh the eraser and I see that the eraser is 5 grams or close to 5 paper clips. Then I weigh the paper clip and it weighs 1 gram, so I will write in 1 gram. Next, I weigh the stapler and I find that it weighs 500 grams. So I will write in 500 grams. Then I weigh the pen and I find that the pen weighs 15 grams. Then when I weigh the pencil, I find that the pencil weighs 10 grams. And finally, when I weigh the ruler, I find that the ruler weighs 30 grams. So now I have completed measuring the mass of each object. So now let's take a look at the chart that we completed here. I'm noticing that on some of them I was correct and some of them I wasn't correct. So take a minute and maybe pause if you'd like and come back, or just follow along with me to see that I'm noticing that on the 3-hole punch, I did get that one correct. I estimated and the measurement was the same. And on the paper clip, I did get the right measurement. I guessed 1 gram and the measurement was 1 gram. And everything else, I was pretty close. I was just a couple of grams away from the right answer on the eraser and the stapler. The pen, I was pretty close, just 5 away. The pencil, I was pretty close, just a couple grams away. And the ruler, just 10 grams away. So looking at part A, it's asking me to describe how your estimates compare to your measurements. And I need to explain my thinking. So I will answer, my estimates for the 3-hole punch and the paper clip were correct. My other estimates were close, but not correct. And maybe your answer is going to look different than mine because you estimated different than I did. So that's okay. Okay, let's take a look at part B. Write the order of the objects from least mass to the greatest mass. So you may want to pause and try this part on your own and then come back, or you can simply follow along with me. I'm going to start, they asked us to look for the least mass, which it means the smallest, and the smallest one would be this paper clip. So that's going to be the first one in our order from least to greatest mass. So that's going to be the first one. The next one is going to be the eraser. So that one is 5 grams. Then the next one is going to be the pencil because it is 10 grams. And then we go to the pen because that one is 15 grams. Next is the ruler because it is 30 grams. And then we go to the stapler, which is 500 grams. And the last one is the 3-hole punch because it is 1 kilogram, or also it is called 1,000 grams. So 1 kilogram is the same as 1,000 grams. So it is our heaviest, our greatest mass. So I can answer paper clip, eraser, pencil, pen, ruler, stapler, and 3-hole punch. Let's turn to the next page, page 445, part 2 under Step It Out. A baker orders a basket of apples and a wooden spoon to make apple pies. Which unit would be better for measuring the mass of each object? Part A asks us to think about objects you know, a textbook and a paper clip. Use these objects as benchmarks for mass. Remember, we've already talked about that. 1 paper clip is about 1 gram, and a textbook or a book is about 1 kilogram. Now we need to estimate which benchmark mass is closer to the mass of the basket of apples, and then write grams or kilograms. So measure the mass of the basket of apples using, what should we put here? You can pause and write what you think and come back. And when you come back, you will find that we should probably compare that to the book, right? So that would be using kilograms. Now estimate which benchmark's mass is closer to the mass of the wooden spoon. Then write grams or kilograms. So we're taking a look at this wooden spoon, and the measure of the mass for the wooden spoon, we would use, if you want to pause and write it in and come back, you can do so. And when you come back, you would write grams. If you would like to go back and rewatch this video, you may do so and pause along the way as needed at any time.